Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today, the 3rd of April, 2023, guys. So, yep, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this first trading day of April, the first trading day of this week, of course. And yeah, it is an interesting week this week. So, but I'll get in a bit to that. So before we jump into the charts, as always, I have to ask you to read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. So, look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and then we can continue. I'll disappear here for a little bit and I'll be back in a few seconds. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. You can always also work with us. We do offer generous CPA agreements. So, guys, yeah, if you need any help on that one, just give me a shout and we can pick up from there. So anyway, guys, but I think that, yeah, you can check out our website. I believe you can find some useful information. So let's jump into the chart. So the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. And okay, so basically, as I said in my in the name of my webinar, the Fed gets a helping hand from OPEC plus. Yeah, so I'll get in a bit to oil, but as you can see, in general, last week, for example, Nikkei here rallied fantastically. Look, I spoke about this and I spoke about this on Friday. I said my target has been reached. My target was this. If we break the 61.80, we will travel to 78.60. I mean, I was kind of targeting that one. We cleared it, we tested it, we reached it, yes. And now the question here is, can we go further north? Well, to be honest, I'm kind of leaning towards that, but again, I do understand that maybe a bit of a retracement at some point could be possible or something like that. But look, at this point, we are above the 78.60 zone on the Fibonacci retracement here. So, yep, I am aiming right now for that 28,393 zone right here. But if that gets cleared, then yes, certainly I will start targeting the level, this one right here. Let me just put, there we go. So the 28,640, and then maybe the highest point of March, near the 28,733 zone, so approximately around there. That's going to be my next target, but again, for all that to see, we need to get that, we need to have the index staying at least somewhere above that 78.60. If we start falling back down below it, this is where I think the Fibonacci will have to be redrawn, and we'll have to look for maybe a possible retracement back down. So just kind of keep that in mind. But again, for now, at this point, we are above the 78.60. I am leaning towards the upside right now. So, and like I said, yeah, if we do fall back below the 78.60, this is where I will have to, you'll have to quickly start drawing the Fibonacci this way and see, and basically you can see right now that the 23.6 is sitting perfectly near this barrier, the one that I talked about previously, the 27,863. So talk about coincidence. But yeah, look, if we somehow struggle to push further north just because we already had a decent up move and maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. Well, if we get a drop, like I said, below that 78.60 on the fib, then I will draw this Fibonacci here, and then we will take it from there. But like I said, I do like this level here, so probably the arrow would have to go something like that. Not to mention, of course, we could rebound and then push back up, but in the short run, from the short run perspective, then yes, something like that could be possible. ASX 200, guys. So, beautiful continuation move higher. Look, I spoke about this a lot last week, and we're just kind of hitting my levels right now. So, look how well this territory, the 7,245.60 played out. Because what I said to you, that if we break the downside line, aim for this one, and mission accomplished. Great. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see what's going to happen further. At the moment, probably the strategy is this. However, look, I've mentioned this before, and I'll probably continue mentioning this as many times as we can. Just bear with me one moment, guys. Apologies for that, guys. I just kind of had some distraction in there, but hey, let's see if it's not going to be in our way. But as many times as I said, guys, too, and like every time, every single time when it happens, that whenever we break a trend line, it kind of tends to be sometime. Well, most of the time, actually, it comes back and tests the broken trend line from the other side. So, for example, in this case, we broke the downside line. Yes, we traveled a little bit higher, but let's see if this area right now, this resistance area, the one that I like, continues to provide a hold up. If it does, then maybe a bit of a retracement here back down could be possible to test this downside line from above and then rebound and push back up. We have seen this happening several times, so let's not kind of exclude that possibility again. But hey, look, if excuse me, if we clear this territory, this resistance area, then certainly we could travel towards that 7,331, and then we could take it from there. Oh, excuse me, guys, my voice is going down. Oh, by the way, candles. Hi there, hi there. I can see you there in the chat room. Sorry, I didn't say anything earlier, but yeah, there we go. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody else who's joining in. So yeah, guys, look, let me just clear up my throat a little bit. I think it's a little bit sore from the weekend, so just bear with me one moment. And there we go. Now I'm back. Okay, so yeah, apologies for that, for these little technical issues, not issues, but little pauses and everything. But hey, yeah, my throat now is a little bit better, but hopefully it goes okay. Now, like I said, coming back to the idea which I mentioned, that like, yeah, let's see if we can get some sort of a retracement at some point back here to this downside line. But at this point, look, I mean, if we at the moment, look, my target got reached. I was targeting this area between the 7,245 and 60. It got reached. Now if we clear it, I'll target the 7,331. That's going to be my next target, and then we'll take it from there. It would be ideal for me. Ihti Shamkinara, have a glass of water. I'll have a glass of, well, a cup of tea instead, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, apologies for that, guys. But yeah, look, in my ideal world, in terms of ASX 200, I would like to see a move, the index surpassing my resistance area, this one that I really like here, testing the 7,331, maybe struggling with that a little bit, drifting back down, testing the downside line, and then maybe pushing back to the upside. Again, the market doesn't always do what I want it to do, so unfortunately, this will just have to stay in my head. But look, I'm keeping a close eye on this area. If it struggles to overcome it, maybe we could see that retracement a little bit earlier, so keep that in mind. Let's jump into Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, beautiful, beautiful. Honestly, I cannot like express the excitement much, because look, I talked about this last week, in the beginning of last week, and I said that hey, we're kind of bouncing around here. If we drop and stay below this 12,733 territory, I could go a little bit lower here. We did drop, but we failed to stay. We just gave us a false breakout and it reversed back up and pushed and cleared that 12,950 territory. So look, my other target got reached as well, the 13,220. I talked about it last week. I mentioned that. So boom, beautiful, no questions here. Now what's next? Well, in general, look, the problem that we're facing right now, and we got the OPEC suddenly coming out this weekend saying that they're going to be cutting production over just for more than 1 million barrels a day. So of course that kind of gave a boost to oil, and the indices kind of pushed nicely to the upside. The dollar index did also push a little bit to the upside. I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, the whole point is that it may put that kind of moment, the negative moment on the indices. Now, okay, this is the thing. The reason why it could put a negative spin on indices is because it may kind of push the Fed towards the rate hikes, and we could see, this one kind of maybe drifting back to the downside. It would be an interesting idea, to be honest. But look, for now, I would say this way: let's not rush into anything. Let's see how this is going to play out, because again, you need time, because we humans need sometimes time to adjust, and that's the same story was with the market. So we got a nice move last week to the upside. Okay, we could get a little bit more continuation moves higher here, like maybe targeting this, like for example on the Nasdaq 100. I have this other target, the 13,420. Although my preferred scenario is a test of the highest point of August of 2022. But again, let's not rush into anything. Let's go slowly, step by step. So for now, yes, we got a bit of a retracement here, but that's, like I said, because of the kind of OPEC that it could give a helping hand to the Fed, because it could attract or sorry, not attract, but I would say it could push the Fed towards more rate hikes. Because look, if you remember, also if you watched me last week, in the beginning of last week, I talked about the Fed the CME tool, the Fed Watch tool, basically the projection, how they're currently anticipating, like expecting the rate rises to go. I mean, in the beginning of last week, this was for no increases. It was above 50, and even closer to 60. Well, everything very quickly changed very quickly. To be honest, this leveled out already at the end in the second half of last week. Already it was leveled. This is what I said, guys. Be careful, because again, we have a trajectory. We have a vector. The vector right now is for the Fed continue to rise, to increase rates. The PCE that came out last week, they were a little bit on the lower side. So in a way, this is where the dilemma say, hey, inflation is dropping, PCE is dropping, maybe the Fed should not go and hike anything. But the thing is that the rise in oil, that could put like an inflationary pressure, and yes, that could make everything a little bit more expensive again. So that's why I think that the Fed might stick to the same 25 basis point increase, and we'll go with that for now until we get some sort of clarity. So we'll have these little pauses when the market, for example, let's say the indices now drop heavily to the downside, and this is where the whole financial world will start saying, hey, you know what, maybe no more rates are needed and stuff like that. But I think that the target is still for rate hikes, so they cannot be let's say very radical straight away, let's say 50 or 75 basis point increase. No, it will be a gradual 25 additional 25, just to see how we go and see how we go. And look, I mean, there's no surprise there. So at the moment, I would say just go from what we have just straight away at that moment, that time, And at this point, look, we have an OPEC cut. Dollar rose. This could put a little bit of pressure on the indices. We could see maybe something like this happening. But again, look, from the technical perspective, like this is what I tend to use as well. I mean, because, well, this is actually what I mainly use, technicals, because in general, some levels, some resistance barriers and supports are kind of, important. And for example, in this case, look, we did get a bit of a retracement. We're currently bouncing around that 13,220 here on the Nasdaq futures. That was a good barrier that I was looking at. This is the high of the 26th of August of 2022. So look, if we fall back below this, I will consider something like this. Actually, not maybe all the way here, although it would be interesting, but initially towards something like this, because I want to grab this, recycle this line, guys. Always recycle. 13,082 mark. So look, I'm going to target that one initially. If we stay below the 13,220, I will aim for that 13,082 zone. If we clear that one, then yes, I will go to the downside, especially if we clear the 12,950 zone right here, because that's going to be a little bit more interesting for me. So let's keep an eye on that one. But at this point, look, and I'm cautiously bullish still, although again, as I said before, that the OPEC gave a helping hand to the Fed, for more increases. So which could be negative on the indices in general, in the stock market in general. But for now, I think that there could still be like I always call it a last dance before something, before a decent correction. So maybe we could have that last dance for right now. So excuse me. So yeah, let's keep an eye on that one, guys. S&P 500. So beautiful break through the downside line. Great. Look, I talked about this, and I'm going to say the same thing as I mentioned with the ASX 200. That look, whenever we break a trend line, we tend to kind of test it from the other side. So I am kind of considering maybe that as well. So it could be an interesting one. We have this upside line as well, which could play out nicely here. And in a way, look, we have some room for a nice little correction before another possible leg of buying. And in this case, look, it could end out perfectly here. For example, maybe a little correction here, back down, like to kind of, let's say, for the market right now to adjust, and everybody will be a little bit more negative because the Fed is going to rise and blah blah blah, it's going to increase the rates and stuff like that. So let's be bearish on the stock market, but then it will adjust again, and maybe oil will ease off a little bit. And then we go, oh great, like we can jump back into the stock market. So then everybody goes back into the stock market. So look, if you're a bull on this one, if you're a bull on this one, then I would say let it rest a little. Let the news settle down, and let's keep an eye on that one. And then maybe, like I said, maybe we could see this one pushing back to the upside in general, at least in the near term. And of course, guys, you need to keep an eye on the economic data, which is going to be full of this week is going to be full of that. So of course, oh, by the way, China is going to be closed, yep, until Wednesday. So sorry, until Thursday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, China is closed. Today we got the Asian manufacturing PMI numbers. Actually, those came. This is what's interesting. Those came out well, 50, bang on 50. So whatever is below 50, that means that we would be in contraction. So we're definitely for sure on a decline. But yeah, not in contraction yet, I would say. There's a bunch of data that's coming out. We have the manufacturing numbers from manufacturing PMI numbers from Germany, other European countries as well, and the Eurozone in general. And we also have the US ISM manufacturing PMIs as well. So those currently are expected to come out on a bit of a decline. So keep your eyes. Like I said, we do have an eventful week in terms of economic data. So Yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting one. And of course, I'll get to AUDUSD in a bit, to all the Australian pairs, because tomorrow morning, early hours during the early hours of the Asian morning, we do get the RBA interest rate decision. So that's expected to go with, with another 25 basis point increase. So yep, from 3.6 to 3.85. So keep that in mind. In general, what else do we have? Like, we have a bunch of data coming at job openings. Of course, the on Wednesday we have the ADP from the US, ADP non-farm employment change, ISM non-manufacturing PMI numbers, and of course, then Thursday, Cajun Services PMI, the construction PMI from UK, initial jobless claims from the US, employment change numbers from Canada, IV PMI numbers from Canada, and then on Friday, it's Good Friday in the Catholic world. So yep, the markets could be a little bit closed, but there's data coming out. So yep, we have the US non-farm payrolls apparently. So let's see how that's going to play out. But yeah, for now, the expectation for the NFP number is to drop. Well, again, let's wait and see. Let's see how that's going to play out, guys. If it comes below the forecast, maybe actually it could be seen as a positive for the indices. So, okay, let's wait and see. The German index, DAX, guys. So the German index, look, I talked about this as well. I said that if we clear this 15,700 territory and we stay above it, then yes, I'll go higher. So far, we are above it. We're staying above it. So let's see if we can, if we can reach my other target. Now, my other target is ideally is the 16,295 territory right here, or in a way we could round it up towards the 300. But look, in between here, we do have, of course, that psychological 16,000 mark, which could be quite an interesting one, to be honest. So yeah, the 16,000 mark, I'm currently aiming for that one on the German index. And by the way, that's on the futures, because the chart that I have here is the DAX futures. We also do the cash. We have the cash indices, so you can check those out on our platform. So yep, available to trade if you like cash. I'm looking right now, like I said, at the futures. So yeah, it's interesting because look, we remain so far above this 15,700, and in a way, I'm gonna as long as we stay above it, I'm gonna aim higher, and my next target is the 16,000 mark on the DAX futures. So let's see how this is going to play out. If we start now, in terms of the downside, this trend line has to be redrawn, and we need to mark something around here. So basically, if we fall back below the 15,700 zone, yes, great, I will consider a move lower. But if we break the upside line and we fall below the 15,500 territory here, then yes, more sellers could join in, and we could aim for that 50-day EMA or even the 100-day EMA. So let's keep an eye on that one, guys. But at the moment, as I said, I am leaning towards the upside as long as we stay above the 15,700 territory. USX 200, oh, sorry, USX USD, which is the DXY. Started talking about ASX 200, but anyway, USX USD. So the DXY, look, it was a little bit of a roller coaster, annoying roller coaster, I have to admit, because I talked about this, and look, I said that if we fall below the 102 territory right here, I will get a little bit more bearish, and well, I was, and I have to admit that maybe this didn't really work out as I really would like it to work out. But again, the other part worked out because of what I said as well for the upside, that if we break the upper side of the falling channel here and we clear that 102.39 zone, I will get a little bit more excited with the upside. So far, so good for the bulls, I would say. Look, as long as we stay above the 102.39 zone, I am targeting that 103.05 or even that 50-day EMA. Simple as that, guys. So that's what I'm going to be targeting. Let's see if we can reach that. Now gold. Okay, gold took a hit. Yes, took a hit because The DXY kind of rose, and yep, the commodity here got a hit, and we fell back below the 1960 zone. So this is where it's interesting, because if we stay below that 1960 zone, I am gonna target that 1937, 35 territory, somewhere around here. So basically, in other words, what I'm considering right now is something like this. So if we do push back above back to the upside here, keep your eyes on this 1960 zone, or that 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci. If that all this provides good resistance, then yes, something like this could be possible, and then we will take it from there, guys. Silver, yes, it had a nice beautiful decline as well. Look, this one, silver is going to be one of those that are going to be moving sharply. For example, whenever there's a little fluctuation or something like that, it's going to be like boom, 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 to the upside, to the downside, and it's going to be like all over the place. And again, it shows, it showed the best performance here. Look, so far, if going from just purely from the technicals, I am kind of a little bit more bullish, because we have this upside line here, and again, I do understand that these kind of correlate and stuff positively. So yeah, there is still upside potential for gold as well. If we push above the 1960 and stay above it, I'm gonna consider that move to the upside. For silver, look, I'm gonna get a little bit more bearish if we do drop below the 23.30 zone right here. So if we do fall below it, then yes, I will go lower. I will go to the downside towards that 22.85 zone, and then we will take it from there. For the upside, I am taking a very careful approach right now. If we do rebound from this upside line, then yes, I will consider a move back up. But then again, I think that you will have to keep an eye on that 24.16 zone right here, which is the highest point of March. If we clear that one, then yes, more buyers could join in and stuff like that. But okay, let's not rush into anything. We had a fantastic March. In general, I think that we could apply the Fibonacci's here. So you could say that, hey, 23.6 looks attractive, which I'm not going to argue with that one with you. So it does look attractive, but look, let's give it a little bit more time. And I think that I will probably even get more excited with the downside if we do fall below that 23.6. But again, yeah, 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, I mean. But again, it's a lot of movement here, so let's try to see if we can squeeze something out of this upside line. If we cannot, if it breaks, then yes, more downside could be possible. Oil. So there we go. Oil is the big problem right now. So yep, look, I talked about this, and I would say it worked out perfectly, because why? Because look, I mean, I talked about this last week, and I said that if we pop above this upside line and we climb above this 50-day EMA and stay above it, I'm going to go higher. I'm going to initially target my 100-day EMA and then the 200-day EMA. Tick, tick. Everything got matched. Perfect. Now what's next? Well, first of all, we're back to my resistance area, the highlighted one, which I've highlighted probably 2 months ago or something, or even a month ago. And, and I have it for quite a long time now, like since January, actually. Yes, and I wasn't running these shows, and I already had this one marked here on my chart. So look, what I can say here is that for now, the fact that we've managed to pop here, okay, if you managed to capture this swing, this move, this jump, congratulations. If you did not, wait, because I would say if you're, let's say, looking for some upside, then yes, wait for a break of this highlighted zone right here. For now, what could happen, we could see maybe a retracement, something like that happening. So if you want to kind of, maybe make it a little bit easier for yourself, you can draw Fibonacci. You'll see that the 23.6% is somewhere roughly around that 77.60. Maybe depending on how we're going to trade here, maybe it'll take a couple of days to get to this point. Maybe by that time we would have the 50, oh sorry, the 100-day EMA approaching this area, and everything would be, you know, just spot on, boom, like, you know, touch to touch. Yeah, it would be exciting then. Maybe we could see something like this actually, instead of, you know, drawing all the way towards this upside line. Maybe something like this could happen. We could rebound from around here and push back up. So look, at the moment, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be carefully considering a move back, maybe a retracement towards that 23.6. But if I see any, let's say, failure or something like on a shorter time frame, you know, like, and if I see that that's struggling to go lower, look, the upside scenario is not, we're not really done with it right now. So but for me to go higher, I need to see a clearance of this territory right here. So until I get that, yeah, I'm not really you know, getting comfortable with the upside unless we start rebounding from this 23.6 somewhere around here. So at this point, I'm just observing this one. I'm kind of leaning maybe a little bit of a more to the downside, a little bit like a correction here, but again, let's with this one right now, it's a tricky one. At the moment, I would like to see the reaction. You know, the market's gonna open up in Europe today, right now soon, then in the US. So we already had the Asian morning. So yeah, let's see how Europe and US will react to all this OPEC stuff, and then I will probably make my judgment after that. So I want to see how this is going to play out today. Again, be careful, guys. It might present itself with a nice opportunity, but at the same time, it might have increased volatility. So just kind of be a little bit more on the cautious side. So yeah, Bitcoin. So the crypto world. Okay, a rise in dollar kind of screwed up all the plans here for Bitcoin bulls. I think that look, if the dollar is going to continue rising, then you might see this crypto drifting to the downside. And at this point, I'm not really touching anything here with Bitcoin. I need to see it drop somewhere below this 26,551 zone, approximately around there, in order to consider maybe a bit of a larger retracement here towards my key support area, which previously acted as a good resistance. This area between the 25,255, or actually, you know what, near that 25,250 zone, approximately around here. We have the 50-day EMA as well here, so you know, all could play out nicely here. But for the upside, I need to see a push above the 28,936, and if we get a clearance above that, then yes, I will kind of consider a move towards the upside here, and then we could take it from there. Now, Litecoin. Litecoin is an interesting one here as well. Again, similar story. Look how well this barrier, the 94.75, I talked about this last week. Look how well it played out. And basically, I said that I need to see a clear push through it in order to go higher. Well, we didn't get that push, and this is what's happening right now. We're kind of, you know, testing this upside line. We're actually breaking it, but in order for me to go lower, I would like to see a drop somewhere at least below this 80 to 88.54 territory, because at the same time we would fall below the 50-day EMA. Then it could open the door towards that 100 or maybe even the 200-day EMAs, and then we will take it from there. So in other words, this upside line might no longer be valid, because actually I think it's no longer valid. I mean, it's getting violated. It's getting, you know, it already got violated a few times. So you know what, let's get rid of it. Let's instead draw something that I really don't like, and that's the range. I really don't like ranges. Again, if you're a range trader, congratulations. You know, it could present itself with nice opportunity. I like the to wait for a breakout out of the range. That's something that I prefer to see. But again, while it's in the range, I mean, it's just not for me. I mean, if you're like I said, if you like to trade that, and if it works for you, congratulations, guys. I mean, well done. But yeah, we see the world differently. So yeah, like I said, at the moment you might enjoy this, so keep your eyes on this. This might drag here for a little, but yeah, if we clear one of the sides here, then I'll get a little bit more comfortable with the next short-term directional move, guys. So jumping into a few pairs, AUDUSD. So Australian dollar, guys. So as I said to you guys that yeah, tomorrow we have the RBA interest rate decision. So be careful with that. We'll see how, of course, how everything goes there. Yes, an increase might push back the pair here. Look, in general, a few adjustments have to be made, and I think that it's time because this upside line got violated. Actually, what I said before, that if we break, drop somewhere below this, then yes, I mean, we could consider a move lower. But my problem is that tomorrow we have the RBA, and that's why it might not look as straightforward as it is. So one thing that I'm going to do here, first of all, is remove all the drawings and start fresh on this pair. Because again, guys, if sometimes, let's say, the stops, let's say some levels, some barriers, or some trend lines stop working, just kind of remove it, redraw. It's nothing wrong with that one. You always have to adjust. Unfortunately in this game, you have to constantly adjust your technicals. You have to constantly adjust your outlooks, because everything changes. And again, the market, it's like like almost like a living organism, so it kind of gets affected by different things straight away, like me and you. And so anyway, look, again, enough of these biology stories and stuff like that. But look, one thing what I want to do here is actually I want to mark a little trend line, and I want to put it around here, not like that, of course, more of a line. So this is what I want to mark here. So this is quite interesting. I think even this one would be better. So yep, this downside line could be an attractive one if in order to go higher, for example, yes, a breakthrough it would be required. So I'm gonna wait. In order for me to go higher, I'm gonna wait for a break of this trend line, and then I'm gonna consider a move to the upside. But this is where I'm gonna aim for initially, because look, we break the trend line, we break above the 50-day EMA as well. We go towards the 100-day EMA, then we could go towards the 200-day EMA. If that gets cleared, great. I will go further north. But at this point, I'm just targeting I'm gonna be targeting that 200-day EMA. Now for the downside, this one's a little bit more maybe more easy, I would say. So let me just put this one, there we go. So for a downside, I would like to see a drop somewhere below the 0.6625, and if we get that, then yes, I'm going to continue aiming for the lowest point of March, and near the 0.6564. And if that gets clear, then yes, further moves to the upside, to the downside could be possible. So yeah, long story short, for now, the short-term scenario is this. So let's all this area right here will be a little bit on the neutral side for me, and I'm going to just observe the price action. AUDNZD is something to keep in mind as well, and look how well this is playing out. So last week on Friday, I talked about this, and I said we have a range. We have a range, and yes, we, on Friday we were actually clearing this lower side of the range, and I said, yes, looks a little bit more bearish, but wait for it. Wait for the daily candle, see what's going to happen. And we actually kind of really failed to stay below this whole area, and I think it's easier, actually better, if we mark it this way, the 1.0675 zone right here. So I think this is a little bit more accurate, and look how well it played out. So this is where, again, I'm adjusting my levels as I go, because something works better. Maybe I put something a little bit more. So basically, in other words, if we want to go lower, a drop below this 1.0675 territory would be required. This will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and potentially more sellers could join in. For the upside, it needs to push above the 1.0786 zone right here. At the same time, we could travel above the 50-day EMA, and we could push further north here. So now then, another thing to keep in mind, of course, on Wednesday, on Tuesday, we have the RBA, Australia's bank and central bank, and on Wednesday we have the RBNZ interest rate decision. So also an increase of 25 basis points is expected there. Let's see how that's going to play out, and let's see how, if this information will be enough to push this pair out of this range through one of the sides. But at the moment, I'm just going to observe the price action. I'm not really going to do anything, and I'm just going to continue monitoring the situation. AUDCAD, just a quick update. Look, I just wanted to mention this, that because on Friday I talked about it and I said I'm bearish, cautiously bearish, because if we clear this area, the 0.9046, I will go lower. And so far, we are aiming to the downside. Yes, everything's working out nicely. We confirmed the forthcoming lower low, and my next target right now is the 0.8958 right here. Although my ideal scenario is somewhere around here near the 0.887565 zone, but my next target is the 0.8958. So I'm keeping an eye on that one. USD against the Chinese yuan offshore. This one, I talked about this one as well last or on Friday. Look, I said that in order for me to go higher on this one, I need to push somewhere above this 6.91 zone, approximately around here. If we clear that, yes, I will go to the upside, but only up until here, somewhere up until that psychological $7 mark. Oh, sorry, not $7, but 7 yuan mark. Yep. Look, at this point, again, we're oscillating around the EMAs. Not really something that's very helpful for me, because I don't like to see when it's oscillating around the EMAs. I'm just, in that case, I'm just observing the price action. So I need to see a clearance here in order to go to the upside. For the downside, I need to see a drop at least below this 6.84 territory, somewhere around here. Then I could target my lowest point of March, and then I could go further south slowly, so like that. We could draw something around here, like an upside line. It could be the case. I mean, but still, yeah, it could. I think it could be aligned perfectly with this level, with the low of last week, near the 6.84 zone. If we clear it, then yes, I will go to the downside. USDJPY. So, good push to the upside. Okay, yep. Look, at the moment, the dollar is enjoying the moment, and we could see this pair moving actually further north. So look, I talked about this. I said that if we stay above the 50-day EMA, I'll go higher. I'll go towards that 100 and the 200-day EMAs. And yes, and then the 135.12, 26 zone could be my next target. So I'm keeping an eye on that one. Let me actually just mark this for our future reference. I think that this could be a nice good target. So look, this is what I'm going to be aiming for ideally, but in the meantime, I am targeting the 100 and the 200-day EMAs if we continue to trade above the 50-day EMA. If we start falling back below this territory, and actually I think adjustments have to be made here, below the current lowest point of today, the 132.82, if we fall back below it, yep, I will consider a move back to the downside. USDCHF, interesting one as well. Look, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because I talked about it and last week, and so I'm waiting for a clear breakthrough one of these sides, either through the 0.9125 or the 0.92 territory. If we clear one of those, then yes, I will consider a move in the next short-term directional move. GBPUSD, so yeah, there we go. Look, stronger dollar, giving a little bit of a beating here to this pair. And yes, in general, I would say great. On Friday, we reached my target. Okay, not exactly the level, but hey, I talked about this area, this whole resistance zone, and I would say mission accomplished. Team, we're heading home. But not really. Not really, because we're going to try to find another opportunity on this one. And for me, at this point, look, because we're in the range, I said that I don't like ranges, and I'm going to wait now. On this one, I'm going to wait until we get a clearance through one of the sides here. If we get a clear breakthrough 1.2444, then yes, I will go to the upside. I'll get a little bit more excited with higher levels, like, for example, the 1.2666 territory. For the downside, now this is where I have to remove this level, and I think I'm going to draw it this way. I think this has to go here. So basically, this territory becomes quite an important area of support. So look, we might see a bit of a retracement here, maybe a test of this zone, test of the 50-day EMA as well. That gets cleared, yes, I'm going a little bit lower, and especially if we see the pair falling back below all of these EMAs, and if we get that, then yes, great, I will consider a further decline. GBPJPY, just a quick update. So look, I mean, after we broke my downside line, I got a little bit more excited with the upside. At this point, it seems like it's flagging out like a bullish flag. Will that be the case? Well, actually, I would like to see this one actually pushing back above the 164.25 territory right here, which currently is providing resistance. And if we push through it and stay above it, then yes, great. I will go a little bit to the upside. Because my next target is the 166 zone. Actually territory around it, not exactly the level, because again we might go to 165.95 and stop there, and then drift back to the downside. So that's why I aim for the area near that level. So at the moment, yes, I'm cautiously bullish, but I need to see that confirmation break above the 164.25 territory again in order to get a little bit more excited with the upside. For the downside, I'm going to take a bit of a conservative approach here, drop below the 162.20. Might do the trick here for a few more sellers, because that would put it below the 200-day EMA, maybe also below all of the remaining EMAs, and then we could go from there. Euro Aussie, very quickly on that one. Look, again, not much to talk about here because I talked a lot about it last week. I'm still watching this one. For me, this is cautiously bullish because we're still above this upside line. But we're struggling with this barrier. So I need to see a clear break through this barrier again, and I would like to see the body of the daily candle staying above it. So far, I'm just getting these false breakouts, but I can see that the traders are loving it, this barrier, and yes, this 1.6254, approximately around here. If we get a nice good push above it, then yes, I will go to the upside. For the downside, I need to see a break of this upside line, and then we could take it from there. EURNZD, so a similar story, also similar situation here, but hey, by the way, in terms of these two pairs, Euro Aussie and Euro NZD, keep your eyes on the interest rate decisions from RBA and RBNZ. Those might give it a little bit of a boost here, or or the other way. But hey, let's wait and see. But at this point, look, I'm just approaching this purely from the technical perspective. If I get a clearance of one of my levels, then yes, I'm going to consider the next short-term directional move. So for in this case here, then Euro NZD 1.7464. That's what I'm looking at in order to go a little bit more to the upside. So for the downside, again, because we're above this upside line, any throwback here could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. So in other words, if you're looking maybe for some downside, maybe a drop somewhere below this territory, below the 1.73 zone, something like that, could be the case. So keep your eyes on that, guys. 1.73, yep, could be an interesting level here for the downside if it gets broken. And finally, Euro USD. So I drift back to the downside. Okay, look, I'll put my levels again on this one because I removed everything in general. We are above all of the EMAs right now. In general, from the more of a medium-term perspective, we are leaning a little bit more towards the upside because we're currently above all of the EMAs. If we stay above those, then yes, like I said, further upside could be possible. But I'm keeping a close eye on this 1.0760 territory. Provided good resistance and support in the recent past, and let's see if it can act as a good area of support again. Another thing that's happening here, or could be happening, is a range. So 1.0930 is also a good area to watch here on the upside. And yes, somehow, okay, there we go. The chart updated and it's okay. Okay, interesting, very interesting. The chart just updated and I got all my drawings back on the chart. So, okay, don't mind if I do. Look, first of all, this 1.08 territory so far is providing good support. It provided good support and resistance back here. Now we're getting a little hold up here. So I talked about this last week, and I said that if we fall back below the 1.0869 here, I will lean a little bit more towards the downside within the range. Not somewhere like, large, like a bigger move somewhere. No, for that we need to see a clearance of one of the sides here of my range, and then I could go lower or higher. So at this point, I'm just observing the price action. I don't really like this. Okay, I am liking the fact that it's kind of doing what I wanted to do here inside the range. Like, for example, a drop below the 1.0869. And we're now resting on this 1.08 territory. Can we go towards that 1.0760? Let's wait and see. But if that gets cleared, now that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for me. Because then I would start aiming for these EMAs here, initially the 50, then the 100, and then the 200-day EMA. And then I will go from there. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys, your views, your likes, your comments, especially thank you very much for the interaction. I really appreciate that. So if you have any instruments in mind that you would like me to cover, apart from stocks, I know that there were some stock requests, but for that I need to kind of do a separate session, and probably this would work out better as separate ideas on our Easy Markets page here on TradingView. But I'll like I said, sign up, kind of do the follow us, and it will notify you whenever we have something coming out. So yeah, I can see that there are comments coming through. I mean, this is a little bit on the lagging side, because you can see that the the candles made a comment here, and the comment came through. Maybe something's wrong with my connection or something like that, because I think that your comment just came through. And just quickly coming back to fill the gap, 1330, 390. Yeah, look, this is, if you're talking about this little area, then yeah, yeah, this could be an interesting one. US, yeah, it's lagging. I can see that. Okay, guys, honestly, apologies for that. Maybe that's on my side. I think that's because, yeah. USD Mexican, GT Trading 9, USD Mexican, right. Look, USD Mexican, let me just jump back into my list. If I have it here somewhere, USD Mexican peso. Yeah, I think I need to go search. No, I do have it. Where is it? Where is it? Is it the bottom back? Oh yeah, there we go. All the way in the bottom. All the way in the bottom. Let's put it back up here a little bit. Yeah. So, US dollar against the Mexican peso. Look, this one's quite an interesting one. That's the area, mate. Okay. Sorry, Candle Z. Honestly, apologies. Apologies for the kind of the lags. Seriously, I mean, the chat just started showing up with the questions here. I mean, honestly, like before the end of the video. Okay. Anyway. USD GT trading. I'll pick up very quickly on the USD Mexican peso. One of my favorites, actually, to look at. And by the way, thank you very much for the time and experience with you. Thank you very much. Honestly, really pleasure. It's my pleasure. But look, the technical picture in general on this one, I want to jump into the weekly first, because this one's very interesting. Look, the peso is getting very strong in here, and look where we have gone. I mean, we have cleared some of these levels, the historic levels here, and we cleared them like what, back in March. So cleared some of these 1840s. Yes, great. Now it seems like we could go even further south. So. But let me just jump into a daily chart. Look, I'm keeping an eye on this area, the 1790 territory, approximately around here. If we clear that, yes, I'm going lower. I'm aiming to the downside. I don't even have history here for lower levels than this, guys. I mean, this is just spectacular. But yeah, it could be quite an historic moment here. So if we do clear this 1790 territory, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, guys, and potentially could attract a few more sellers. But do not exclude false breakouts, as always, and this is what I always keep on saying. Do not exclude false breakouts, because that might take you out. So for example, you know, we could see a drop lower. Yes, everybody's getting excited. Ooh, great, you know, like a lower low, great, let's jump in on the bandwagon. Yes, correct, you could, and it makes sense to go, because it's a breakout. But if it somehow comes back by the end of the day, you'll see that it's coming back. You know, okay, you know, that should make you worry, because maybe this is a very strong support level, and maybe we'll actually rebound and push back up. Now, another thing, when you ever whenever you're kind of dealing with such pairs, exotic pairs, sometimes you have this, or actually not only exotic pairs, in general, everything. Let's say you have the breakout to the, let's say in this case, to the downside, it trades a little bit, and then closer to Friday, it starts pushing back up, and, you know, comes back. So what you're going to have a false breakout on a weekly candle. So this is, you know, this is quite important as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. So unfortunately, whenever you're getting closer to key levels, you have to kind of, you know, play this game, because it could be bouncing around, like, or, you know, oscillating around a certain level, and then kind of, sometimes it just goes for a straight breakout, sometimes it starts, you know, taking out traders, and you know, just got to keep that in mind. And for this, you always have to, first, have your stop loss in place. Second, only risk what you can afford to lose. Honestly, if you cannot afford to lose in that amount, don't go with that amount. Just leave it. Wait for maybe better days or something like that. So but again, it's part of the game. It's part of the market, you know, so we kind of have to deal with it. Anyway, guys, look, for the upside on this one, for the upside, I would like to see maybe a push somewhere above this. But again, this is quite important. I mean, this is quite a big area to miss out on. So probably the easier option is to wait for a push somewhere above this area. So look, I think I will quickly mark this, I think, for our future reference. So something like, not like this, but like this. So this is the area which is quite important to watch. And look, if we push back above it, yes, I will consider some moves higher, And yep, we could see a move back above all of the EMAs here, and potentially more buyers could join in. So just simple as that. But at the moment, I am considering that breakout to the downside here, but I want to see if it's going to hold. And I want to see if it's going to stay below this, because if it's not going to stay, maybe there's a possibility for a double bottom. But again, I'm going to pick up on this at a later stage. Let's not overcomplicate our lives yet, but it could be quite an interesting one. So, guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Sorry for that. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your views, your likes, your comments, everything, guys. So, apologies for the lag in the chat box. Honestly, I don't know. This, yeah. Well, unfortunately, these things are going to happen probably. So, thank you very much for your patience. So, I will see you tomorrow, 6 o'clock GMT time. As always, my daily pitch international, yep, with easy markets. So thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Uh-oh, you just broke a digital image cursing us all to 7 years of market volatility. Undo by subscribing to our channel.